Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you today to chat with you a little bit about how we can begin to build and create something new and move forward. My word actually of 2022 is new. And I know it seems simple, and I don't mean it in the simplistic sense of new year, new me, or anything like that. It really is more about just seeing things from a different lens. New perspectives, new observations, new connections, new opportunities, new growth, whatever it might bring this year, just to see things from a new way. And I think, it's also a time to let go. And I think that's one of the ways to start moving forward and creating something new is to let go. Okay, there's been a lot that's gone on in healthcare. There's a lot of resistance right now in healthcare. It's really heavy right now. It's really stressful right now. Providers are running on fumes right now. And I think in order for us to start to create something new and build something new and move forward, that we have to let go of that resistance. We have to let it go. It is what it was. We've learned from it. We understand it. And I think it's important to not live in it, and to forgive others, forgive yourself, to trust the good intentions of others above all else, if possible, and to move forward. I think that if we get stuck in resistance, we just go back and forth. And at the end of the day, it only imprisons us, right? It only holds us captive. We are the ones who feel disempowered by it all, not anyone else. Okay, whether there's someone who's in the right or someone who's in the wrong, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Okay, it's not going to matter if you can't move forward. Second, collaboration. Okay, in healthcare right now, this is a time to collaborate. Not one person can do this all on their own, but I think it's important when you're collaborating to be selective about who you collaborate with, who you trust, who you can work with, who you share the same values with, and who you can be open with and have an open dialogue with. Okay, so being intentional is actually another one. Being intentional about your collaboration is also important. So by collaborating too, I think it's also another way to empower yourselves and not to take on everything yourself. The thing that I want to caution you though with, if there are people who are not quite letting things go, and there are people who are ready to move forward, one can kind of hold back the other. So that can create disempowerment and that can create conflict. So that's what I mean about being selective, knowing who's on the same page, knowing who has the same intentions, knowing who's in this, and knowing what reasons they're in it for. Okay. Number 3 is being active or proactive rather than reactive is one way to move forward and create something new. If we're creating something new, we can't really be as reactive, right? We're always kind of a little bit ahead. We're always foreseeing things. And I think to be proactive and to be active requires a solutions-oriented mindset, an action-oriented mindset. Nothing drives me more crazy than being a part of a committee, a group, a team, a task force, whatever it might be, that just talks and talks and nothing changes. Okay. Like I've mentioned in other podcasts, we are very good at identifying what things are. We're good possibly at identifying why they are. But when it comes to creating the solution, that's where we kind of draw the line, and we're not as effective in that area or as consistent in that area. So going back to who you collaborate with, keep this in mind. Are these people who are doers, who are engaging in action, who want to see change, or do they just want to talk? And do they just want to keep talking? This is something that you do have to think about, because you only have so much energy and you only have so much time, and you could be devoting potentially a lot of time to this effort. So it's really important to be mindful of that, okay, and take inventory of that. Fourth, be intentional. Okay, and I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Being intentional to me is recognizing that there is a part of you internally that has a role to play in this greater change and this greater creation, and in moving forward. So this really is coming down to what it is that you want, what your intentions are of this movement, let's say, and mission, and what do you desire, what do you hope for, what are your values. And I think this is also deeply connected to your spiritual practices. I think it's important for all healthcare providers to have a spiritual practice of some sort. It doesn't have to be, again, the same across the board, but I do think it's important for us to connect with ourselves. There is just so much going on outside of us. There's so much noise. And when we think we've stepped out of the environment, we think that all is good. But what we don't realize is we take that with us. And we have to find ways to decompress. We have to find ways to find peace, to find joy, and things like that. So what helps me, for example, spiritual practices that I've committed to over the years: journaling, gratitude, prayer. Lately, it's been walking or jogging in nature, or just like observing nature and being in nature, as well as reflecting, of course, which is something I always do. But the other thing is, for me, has been meditation. I've actually have been getting better and better at meditation. One of the things I do with my meditation is I try not to think too much. I try to focus on something outside of me, like a noise. Oftentimes, the birds chirping is something that I hear from my condo unit. So that's something I focus on while deep breathing. And then I start to have some visualizations as well with that. But meditation for me has also been helpful in decompressing and kind of calming the nervous system. And finally, refraining from comparison, refraining from conflict in any way, anything that brings you to a place where you just are not happy with yourself, refrain from that. And don't get me wrong, it's hard to do this because we can sometimes be emotional, right? We can sometimes, for me, I know I can react kind of quickly to things sometimes. And then I think about it afterward and I'm like, oh, why'd you react that way? But I've learned to forgive myself. That's just who I am. And I've gotten a lot better. But I know that at least about myself. I'm self-aware of it. So it helps me in my interactions with others to just ground myself a little more. And that's, again, where my intentionality comes into play. My spiritual practices come into play. Those are really helpful for me. And again, starting with a new day, with a new lens, and with just forgiving, right? Forgiving myself, forgiving others, and again, creating something new for that day. So let me know what you think. I hope these have been helpful for you, as they have been for me. And some of these things I'm also building on more and more. Part of this is for me also trusting my intuition more and more. I'm not afraid now to say no to things. I'm not afraid to step away from things that I may have already invested in, if I know that it's compromising my well-being in some way, shape, or form, or if it's not aligned with my values, if it's not aligned with who I am. But this is the year really that I do believe for me is a renewal. The last couple of years hasn't been. The last couple of years for me have really been just maintaining and just kind of getting through day to day, which is still the goal. But I do believe that in 2022, especially after this month and next, things will start to look up. So I hope I'm right. I believe I'm right. And I'm learning to trust my intuition. I'm learning to trust this inner guidance that sometimes I've failed to trust or even listen to in the past. And it's been showing that it's been on point lately. So I know that we all have this inner guidance. And I ask that you take the time to listen to yourself, to dig a little deeper, find the quiet, hold that space for yourself and to ask yourself what you need right now in order to move forward and to create something new. If you have any more insights on this topic, if you want to collaborate on something that you've been thinking about and I come to mind, please reach out to me. Like I said, I'm not afraid to say no. I'm always very supportive of other people's endeavors. And if there's ways that I can help, I'm happy to do that with you and for you. So you can reach out to me on Instagram. My handle's at bestobsessedwithjen. And until we chat next time, remember to stay well and stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.